Good evening. My name is Oni Afolabi, and then we are back for today's edition of MBBF Insta Live. Today we'll be having Deji Akindele, a member of the Tigers team, although despite participating in virtually all the qualifiers before the World Cup, he was in camp for training, but he was not shortlisted for the final 12 for the World Cup that went down in China. Despite that, he showed team spirit. He showed he showed his level of maturity, and he was still there with them in China just to support the team. Member of the 2017, 2007, 2009, and 2017 Afro basket side. It's been a while that he's been playing for Nigeria. Then for today's interview, he's going to basically focus on his life growing up, and then time while playing for the Tigers, and then now at the age of 37, what are the plans for retirement? What are the things he has put in place to what are his plans if he calls it quit today, and when is it actually, is there any timeline um, for that? These are some of the questions we'll be asking him, and then possibly a sneak peek into his personal life to know what's really up with him in terms of relationship, um, food, and what have you. We'll try and wait for him now to join us on the edition of on the Friday edition of MBBF Insta Live. So I'm trying to contact him. We spoke like a few minutes ago, and he said he was ready, but I've not seen him online. Yesterday we had the captain of the B Tigers in the person of Ikechukwu Somtochukwu Diogu, who spoke about um, his fatherly role, his brotherly role, leadership role in the team as a captain, what went down at the 2019 World Cup in China, um, his experience with the 2017 set and also the 2015 set, NBA career, why he didn't go far, quote and unquote. Not that after spending 7 years, he said he could have done more if he was given the chance, to prove himself in the NBA. Also going abroad to countries like Puerto Rico, China, just to play basketball and also make some dough. Right now we have Deji to send him an invite to join us for the Friday edition, the Freaky Friday. Sexy.
What up? What up? What up? What up?
Sexy.
How far now?
I'm good. Um, how did you get your name, Sexy?
Well,
Aha.
the sexiest boys on the national team now. That's how the whole thing come about. But thank you too for
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 what?
putting a stamp on it.
Okay. Sexy.
You put a stamp on it. Uh,
Um, According to our tradition, you have to make a solemn promise that everything you're going to tell us is going to be nothing but the truth, and then you're going to answer all our questions. No, 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 Joro.
okay, I go use my left hand because
Okay.
I feel life small.
Oh
I
my.
swear to tell nothing but the truth on this live interview. Uh,
Tell us who Deji Akindele is.
Well, it's just a kid from Abeokuta, Ogun State, small town right outside of Lagos. Without traffic, 40 minutes. With traffic, 7 hours, you know. But yeah, a kid from Ogun State that never dreamed about playing basketball. I was a jack of all trade. Played every sport growing up, soccer, tennis. Well, they call it table tennis, in Nigeria. In US, they call it ping pong. Play volleyball, handball, whatever it is I can lay my hands on. My friends are doing because I grew up around six sisters. So I don't have anything to do at home with them. So I just, I kind of just, go outside and play with my friends, and whatever they're doing, I'm doing. And growing a little bit taller, my dad decided to enroll me, you know, into basketball so I can learn right before I graduate high school because we all knew I was going to go to college in the States. So he kind of just enrolled me into basketball so I can learn at least know something about basketball before I get on the plane.
So it was your dad knew that this guy was going to play basketball because he was way taller than all his peers and all. What was that difference for you? Because most people that we've seen, they never had the supportive parents, trying to encourage them to also play basketball. All they needed was okay, go and study, go for your education and all that. What difference did that make for you? I mean,
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think my dad, I don't think my dad really cared about basketball. I think he just wanted, you know, he didn't want to pay for my college. Like, why would I pay 4 years of college if this fucker is so tall and he can get a scholarship? My dad went to school in Atlanta. He went to college. He went to pharmacy school in Atlanta. My mom went to cosmetology school in Atlanta too. So they they kind of was like accustomed to the U.S. system. They know about the scholarship and how kids can go to school for free. So my dad knew that. So he just, I guess he was planning like, okay, I already paid for six kids to go to school. If I can get him to go to school for free, that's good enough. He didn't, ultimately he didn't really, you know, think I was gonna go pro. But he was just like, okay, he's tall enough to get a scholarship. And we worked on that. Ugo, Masai at the time came to Nigeria. They saw me. I got introduced to them, and Ugo said, I'm gonna try to get you a scholarship. He made some calls. He called a friend of his, Steve Gosa. He was an assistant coach at Portland State at the time. And everything just worked out. I mean, if it was meant to be, it was going to be anyway. So I think everything was just meant to be. Everything worked out. I had a scholarship before I even came. So when I landed in Chicago a week later, I was on the plane going to Portland.
okay, now let's look at it now. For you growing up, as a rich kid in Abeokuta, what were those privileges that you enjoyed?
To be honest with you, I was never one of those kids that grew up, in the ghetto per se. You know what I mean? Okay, I grew up in a small town, but outside you see the struggle. But when I go inside my house, we were well off. You know what I mean? Like my dad was at the time they moved back to Nigeria. He was the person, the like the number two guy to the at the time richest dude in Nigeria, MKO at the time. So we were well off. You know what I mean? We had everything. The houses, compared to anybody else in the neighborhood, the house is the second best to to Aviola's house at the time. We had the cars, we had everything. We had allowances to school. We had drivers that takes us to school and picks us up after school and all that stuff. So I never felt like I was in any type of struggle, but I do see it when I go outside and play with my friends because I go to their houses. I play with them from morning till night. I see them at school, so I know both sides. I get to go home and, and sleep in a good bed, eat three, square meals a day or whatever. Then I go outside and my friends are telling me they don't have they don't have money to get for their school fees or their shoes or whatever. So I get to see both sides, which was good for me to be able to to experience what they experience outside and come home and be able to put that in perspective. Like, okay, we have enough, so you know I'll take out of my lunch money or allowances and trying to help my my friends out with their problems or whatever. So it was an eye opener, and I'm glad I was able to you know to experience both sides.
When did you when did you come to appreciate where you found yourself? Not being poor, not having to experience hunger or having to go to school without getting your school fees paid, and then seeing people around you going through all those hardship and all that. When did you come to realize that, oh, maybe I'm the lucky type?
Well, the older you get, the more you start seeing things different. Because at first when you start going out there, it's like, okay, you come in there with your uniform all ironed up and starched up, and your lunchbox and everything is packed. Your socks is all pearl white or whatever. And you just different from everybody else. You have everything, books, and you got kids that coming in there with patches on their pants or whatever, and you're looking at them, but you don't know where they come from. Then you start mingling with them. You start becoming friends. You start creating bonds. And now they invite you to their house. You're like, "Whoa, you live here?" Like, then that's when everything starts setting in. Like, okay, maybe we have a little bit more than most. And it didn't sit well with me, to see that. If I could, I would have invited every friend I had to come and live in my house, but my parents won't have that. So all I could do is just, help them out the way, the little way I can, you know.
Did people wait on you for for coming from a rich family or something?
I didn't think they hated on me. I think they kind of, some people took advantage because they know you have it or they feel like you have it. So they would, they'll give you sad stories, about, what's going on and how they need stuff or whatever, or they would, purposely invite you to their house just so you can see how they live or whatever. Or some of my friends that come to my house like, whoa, this is your house, and they, a few days later or something, they'll make up, or tell you stories, to try to get something out of you. I mean, I didn't mind doing it because it was fulfilling at the time. It felt good doing something for somebody that don't have, that I feel like don't have as much as we did.
Okay. At what time you told us about your dad registering you for basketball and then trying to take advantage of the U.S. scholarship system for because he's been so used to it, your dad, your mom, and all that. Now, at what time of your life did you know that you were going to play basketball as a pro?
Oh, that's kind of it was kind of an overnight thing for me, to be honest with you, because my story was kind of like a sad one, leading to, my real college. Because when I went to Portland State, I had to pass the SAT exams or whatever. So fortunately for me, they made me take the SAT and the ACT at the time just to back it up. So when my SAT came, I failed it by I think like 2 points or 4 points. I don't remember exactly. And my coach, he was impatient, very impatient with me. Like, yo, you can't play for another year. That's a waste of scholarship. He just, every single chance he get, he chewed me out in practice. I think he just kind of was trying to frustrate me so I can, leave so he can get his scholarship back or whatever. I don't know what his goal was, but I was so young that I couldn't deal with it. So whenever we finished practice, I go back to my room and call my dad, and just complain about don't want to be here. I hate it here. And reached out to Ugo. Ugo was like, man, you too young. We should have never took you straight to college that far anyways. Like you are too young. They talked it over with my side, my dad, and they decided to take me out of that overnight and take me to a prep school so I can at least mingle with kids my age, for at least few months before I go to college. And so that's what they did. They took me from there, took me to Virginia Beach. I met a whole bunch of group there that of my age. Fortunately for me, when I got there, my ACT came back and I passed. So I didn't have to go to class or nothing. So I was just there lifting weights and working on basketball. So he helped me, get ready for when I was going to college. So the following school year when I was getting ready to go to school, which I ended up choosing Chicago State because of my best friend at the time. His dad was the coach. You know, stupid, but it ended up working out in my in my favor because I had big school offers, but I chose to go with my best friend. I didn't know any better. I didn't know the difference between big schools and small schools, ACC or NAIA. I didn't know any difference. I was coming from Nigeria, so basketball to me is basketball. So I ended up going there, and my first year, I didn't know nothing about basketball, to be honest with you. I was just running up and down the floor, jumping, grabbing a rebound, and blocking shots. I couldn't, I couldn't score for nothing. Like I couldn't score for shit. And my dad one day was driving from work, and he was listening to radio. Old people they listen to radio, and some trainer name came up in an interview, and he had an interview on there. His name is Tim Grover, which I call him my second dad today. He saved me. He's without him, I don't know if I would be here today. And my dad heard the name. He drove down there the next day, checked the gym out, and he couldn't go in because it was private gym for all just pros. And reached out to Ugo again. At that time, Ugo was already an agent. And Ugo found a way to reach out to Tim Grover, and Tim Grover told me to come there. I think at the time it was me and another player. It was like my height too. He told me to come out there and he'll check me out and see if he can work with me. And we went down there. We drove down there. He just he told us to go down there and just shoot the ball, shoot around. I didn't know they was watching us, so we doing whatever. We just doing whatever. So the very day after we finished doing whatever, he called us. He called us and he told me like, "Yo, you can come back, but he can't come back. Like my friend can't come back." And I didn't know what. I was like, "Okay." So I just started avoiding my boy to go there. So I would sneak and go there. And he told me he would never play basketball. Like, like he just told me right away, like he would never play basketball. That you, you know, you can come back, but he can't play basketball. He's not a basketball player. I didn't know what the hell that means, but anyway, I'm glad I was able to get in there, and that's how the whole process of me being a basketball player as a pro started. Because me going in that gym, seeing pros every day, working out with the so-called, I didn't even know he was Michael Jordan's trainer at the time. Me working out with that guy every day, him teaching me stuff, me playing 5-on-5 against pros. That's when I started seeing like, yo, I could do this. And I would park my car. I had a Pathfinder at the time. I would park my car like 6 blocks away so they don't see what I drive. Because these guys would come in there with the Bentleys, with Escalade trucks, with Lambo, with Ferrari. And I'm like, I can't park my car right next to them, but I want that though. One day I'm gonna get that. So it just gives me more motivation to just come in there and work harder than them. They go home and I literally will find a corner and take a nap and wake up and be doing push-ups and doing extra work or whatever. And Tim was like, yo, just go home. You gotta give your body some time to rest. And I just, like, nah. I'll be here. Get up at 6 in the morning just to get there at 6:30. We work out at 7. It was fun time. It was fun time. But when I start seeing the result, when I go back to school, and my coach starts seeing me get better, that's when the whole thing started clicking. Like, okay, you actually the best player on the school on campus now, and it just drives me to even trying to get better and get better and get better. And that's when everything started registering. Like, yo, you can actually do this.
Okay, I think Ejike Ogbuaja, a board member of the federation, is yabbing me. So you have to speak a bit of pidgin so that I won't get confused because of this your big English. Now looking at moving from Nigeria to the US, how easy was it for you? I know that it wasn't just about you wanting to move like what we see today, that a lot of kids who want to just go to the US and have access to scholarship or play pro basketball. It was a part
Right.
that for you by your parents. So how was it? How easy was it for you to leave your friends behind and go to a place that you really don't have many friends?
Uh, to be honest, it wasn't easy at all because at that time, I mean, I was educated enough, high school level, but I wasn't I wasn't hip to the so-called American way of speaking, of communicating, of talking. So it was very difficult. The culture shock was very, 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 very difficult to adjust to. But, as a kid, you tend to um, just try to blend in as much as possible. You know, you do what you copycat. My friends are wearing this, I want to wear it. They talk like this, I want to talk like that. So it was more of a learning process for me, and they were very, very helpful. My prep school friends, they were very, very helpful to kind of let me transition. So I would say by the time I got to college, I was already like feeling very comfortable, you know, and not, you could tell I have thick accent and all of that stuff, but I was comfortable in my own skin. People would joke about, I'm African, I'm this, I'm that, but it didn't bother me because in prep school they kind of helped me, get ready for all of that. So I had help, uh, definitely, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all.
Now adapting to life in the US, dressing kind of way different, the way they talk, what they eat. Tell us probably one embarrassing moment that you had, trying to adapt and then you got caught, trying to blend in and then you got caught. You couldn't just cope.
I think I'm going to say this one in broken English. Okay. When I first get to my first college, yeah, it was this roommate I had. I'm going to throw his name out there because I don't care for him too much now. His name was Tony Weed. No, not Tony. His name was Tone, not Tony Weedon. Tony Weedon is my college teammate in Chicago State. His name was Tony. Tone. We call him Tone. And he was smarter than me. It was like, I think he'd be junior at that time. I was a freshman. And he know that, I'm the African boy now. I don't know anything. He just come. So he 419 me. I, I did tell you, like me, Niger boy, we will say I feel say,
You sharp.
I sharp, I sharp. Not to, this guy sent in one of his friends because they always come to they always come to the room, they go play video game, they go. Me, I know they play video game at that time. So I go just they watch them, they go. So I don't see the guy come in and out a few times. So the guy just knock on door. That day and they rain a Friday night, they rain. I can never forget. I gave $500 in my account. I think my dad gave me the 500 or something. I don't know. But all of the money my assistant coach at that time, Steve, carried me go bank, US bank at the time, open account for me. I think say, don't set. This guy just come inside. Ah, don't dey inside. I say, no deal, don't come out. Ah, man. Oh, now Friday. Oh, I fit do am favor. I say, which kind of favor? I say, ah, na Friday now. You won't come out, you know. Now weekend, everything on jolly. As he just come out for work, na. And he just collect him check. Bank don't close. Ah, and he don't go out, you know, make he catch phone all week. So waiting happen. I say, I fit give am, few dollars. Say, make I collect the check, yeah. So when Monday come, make I deposit the check and go come collect. Ah, so as he give me the check now like 1,800. Well, I said, okay, I go do you favor, but I no get cash here. I said, I could go your bank no far now. You just come out. So my mumu self, I think say, okay, I don't see this guy before. Now my roommate friend. Make I do am favor, it go make me look good in front of, my teammates, whether he go like me, for practice. How
For acceptance.
yeah, you want do something where you say, I just put on my jacket, enter in, go there. The guy follow me. Inside rain, no, I don't know, say, my own roommate park house downstairs for parking lot. Now them set me up. I almost said, make I comot $40 give am. I no do am. I comot the whole 500 give am.
What?
Because I give me check 1/8 now. I dey think my head say nothing. I don't deposit 1/8. I
My
remember
yeah.
saying I remember saying na background check he carry give me. Now so I give am money. I go. Monday come, I go bank. So they say the check na fake check. Hey, tell don't say you don't even know the guy at all. Say you don't even know the guy. Say he come with some people, you know the guy. He deny am. But later on, I go to my coach. My coach now they buy me McDonald's. I go give me $5 now. I take chop. Make I go cafeteria because cafeteria na only afternoon. No fit go breakfast. Go there. No. So he'll give me for dinner and all that. So my very embarrassed to tell my papa. Very embarrassed to tell him. But later on, my other teammates, we know him. We ain't go brag to them say he don't fall on the rookie. And then come tell me, say, I did their room one day, they smoke. All this white boy now, they smoke, drink, finish. Alcohol, they can't they tell the truth. And man, that's fucked up, you know. Fucked up waiting to do you. That kind of thing. It happen. They come tell me the whole snap. I say, for Yankee, they 419 me. Me. That one might be the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me in the US for sure. And it will be like a lifelong lesson. Yeah, for sure.
Did you try to probably take it back from him or try to
I
retaliate?
never even confronted him about anything. I didn't even act like I knew because it was bygone with bygone, like my roommate. Why would I make enemy of somebody that I live with? So when I left Portland State at the time, I just left it there. And, fortunately enough, I actually ran into him again, like 5 years after I turned pro. I think it was 5 years after I turned pro. It was in Vegas in the club. And now he already heard about me playing at Golden State and this and the third. And I was in Vegas playing summer league with some other team at the time. I don't remember. And he was trying to be nice to me. I just like that thing in me just like, oh, okay, cool. My table did there. If you enter. you know, like you don't chop your 500. Enjoy yourself. I'm still alive. That. But for some reason, I had the closure. I had the closure for because like, I see him again, and I was like, "Oh, I'm doing better than you." We're done, sir.
Okay. What about in Nigeria? I think I met one of your secondary school mates then, and then he told me that they used to call you Langa. What?
Yeah. That nickname, I can't even remember who gave me that nickname. I don't go lie, you, I swear. But for some reason, it was because of my height. But it was like a household name everywhere in Abeokuta. You can literally drop off, take a bus from Lagos, drop off anywhere in Abeokuta and say you are going to Langa's house, and they will literally tell you how to get there. It was it was that big of a nickname. It was, I mean, probably the most famous name anybody can ever have in a city or a state. It was very, 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 very sticky name. I didn't like it at first, but when you start getting everybody and every kid and everybody calling you that, you just like what can you do? Will you fight everybody? Can't. So, but yeah, that was a terrible nickname.
And then now, longer than now, driving a Wrangler now, right?
Ah. I don't know what you are talking about, man.
All right. You've been on the national team for so long that even some kids who are watching right now were not born then. Tell us how your journey started into the national team.
Yeah, national team was always something that I admire from afar. You know, coming from Nigeria, when I went to Lagos to try to learn basketball, I see players like Nuru Adepoju at the time, Shola, Ejike Alona, uh, Ejike Ugbaja, Abdullahi Kuso, Solomon Tat. I mean, name goes on. Chooks. There's so many. Tilo. I mean, like you look at them and you're like, well, that's what it feels like to be, to play on the national team. Or you see them practicing and you feel like, okay, one day maybe. And as soon as I went and signed my first NBA contract, I got a call, which Ugo was always my big brother. So he orchestrated them to reach out to me, come and join the national team. I couldn't at the time because I never was, be honest with you, I never was impressed about or with some people on the national team, player wise. Not, I don't know the staff or whatever, player wise. So it was more of a, nah, I'm not doing it because of that. I'm not going to go into details, but 3 years later, Ugo was like, why would you let them, like determine if you're going to play for the national team or not? Just go over there and take their spot. Like, just go over there and take their spot. And he always just tell me, just go over there and take their spot. You better than those people. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's just too much politics. And I went, truth be told, I went in '07 with St. Vincent. And what's his name? Yeah, I think it was St. Vincent.
I think Sam Vincent, yeah.
Yeah. I went in '07. We had a camp. Everything was cool. We was all going to Japan. Um, Passport's already gone to the embassy. Visa was already in there. And 2 days before we left, me and Ime Udoka got into it. And mind you, Sam was our coach from the D League. He knows how me and Ime always get into it. That's my big brother. We always get into it. I'm hard headed. Well, I was hard headed, and Ime was the OG that always, shoot it straight, tell me like it is. So he never let me get away with nothing. And I was young, and I always just have something to say to him. So Sam decided to drop me from the team 2 days before we left and brought in another big guy. I think it was like at that time, dude was like 38, 39. I don't remember his name, but he's an Igbo guy. He ended up dropping me and brought in that guy 2 days before because of the argument me and Ime had at practice. And I was like, you know what? I'm not messing with y'all again. And truth be told, the following year I came right back, and I did another 2 years with him. And '09, we had a new coach in John Lucas. That was the best time I had. It was clean play, made the best player play. It wasn't no politics, no nothing. We came there, we practiced hard in Houston for like 2 weeks, and he picked the best. And we went to, I think we went to Libya. Uh, Hell of a team we had, but we couldn't get it together because it was a fight between two players. in the middle of the game against Mali. Against Mali? No, against Cameroon. And we lost that game and he ended up finishing fifth. But the way the standing was set up back then, if you lose one game, you can finish fifth or seventh. It wasn't like it is now where, you got knockout, knockout. Back then, it's about when you lose and who you lose to. So it was funny. It was funny, but you can't lose. Pretty much, you can't lose the whole tournament if you want to win out. So we end up finishing fifth, and they end up busting up that team. And right after that, I was injured. I was injured. I tore my meniscus, uh, and no insurance, no nothing. I ended up paying out of pocket for my insurance, for my surgery, rehab, and everything. And I vowed to myself that I will never play for the national team without insurance no more. So I was removed from there for 4 years, I think. Yeah, 2009. Yeah, I was removed from there for 4 years until the national. Mind you, they always call me, and I always show up at the camp, and I always pull that card. Oh, we got insurance. I show up. Well, show me the insurance. They'll send an email of a copy or whatever, and I go do my research because I know how insurance works. You gotta put it in 30 days. They'll send you a card, and you can't file a claim, until so, how many days or months that you're there or whatever. So it was complicated, but they come in there and just send you an email and say, this is insurance, you good. Nah, it doesn't work like that. So a few times I did that where I was in camp with them in Orlando. They left me in Orlando and went to London. Uh, Another time they did it again. I pulled out again. And finally, they changed the way the things work, and now the Olympics or the FIBA or whatever, is in charge of the insurance. Google reached out to me and gave me the whole spit, and I'm like, well, I'm ready. I've been ready to do it. I don't have a problem, playing for the national team or even whatever. I'm not, I told myself I wasn't going to do it without insurance, and now they do. Well, let's work. And ever since then, I've been back on the national team, and it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun ride.
You were out for a while, do you look back, although you had a very terrible experience where you had to fend for yourself and take care of yourself despite getting injured on the national team, which informed your decision to stay out. Now you are older now, you have more experience, you've seen everything, you've seen life. Uh, do you at any time regret staying out of the national team for that long?
Obviously, I do. I mean, I could have been a two-time Olympian, but sometimes you have to look out for yourself and for your well-being first. At the end of the day, not national team, it is what it is, exactly what it is. National duty. You know, Nobody's getting paid. You're doing it for the glory of the country, not even for your glory. Because whatever the case may be, you're doing it to make 180 million Nigerian proud. You know what I mean? You're doing it for the flag. You're doing it for the color, you know, of the flag. People that will see, you on TV and be like, whoa, that's Nigerian playing. That's what you're doing it for. Because a lot of them don't know who you are. They know Nigeria is playing in Olympics, but they don't know who's playing for the for the team. They might people that's basketball fans might know you, but not everybody knows you. But they know the country is there playing or representing them. So at the end of the day, I'd rather be a part of those two Olympics, but sometimes you have to make a decision, based on your situation and your well-being first. I know myself, and the way I felt at the time when the whole situation happened, and the reaction on the that they didn't reciprocate, you know, what I feel like we sacrificed for the national team. We didn't get that back, when people get hurt, or when people had to sit out for a whole year because they can't play, or people had to lose their whole career and never play basketball again. We didn't get those. back. We didn't get those back from the national team. We didn't get those back from people that, out on top at the time. All we get was an email and saying get well soon. And it was kind of disappointing. So, you know, yeah, I would have loved to play, but there's no way I was gonna play for, people that don't care or give 2 cents about, if I ever play basketball no more after playing for them. Because at that time it becomes, I'm not doing it for the country, I'm doing it for you guys. Because if you're in charge of the national team and you're supposed to take care of the players and their well-being and you're not doing that, you're taking away from, the fun part of the game. It's not fun anymore.
Okay, now looking at 2017, you came back and a silver medal for the team. One of the mainstay between the young the guys that were coming around at that particular point in time, and then the old those guys that have been there before, the part of the 2015 sets, and and all that. How was it easy for you to provide the balance that Nigerian basketball needed at that time when we had most of the high profile players, whether getting invitation late or trying to stay out because of one issues or the other they had with their club or with the federation at that time?
I mean, pretty much, it was funny because me coming back on the national team, I didn't know anything about nobody that was there. Everybody was new. The federation was new, the coach was new, the team manager, the GM was new. So when Ugo reached out to me, the first thing I did was I talked to the coach, I talked to Alex, and I told him, I wasn't gonna come to the camp, but I would meet them in Nigeria. I'm gonna buy my own ticket and I'm gonna meet them in Nigeria. And he was like, cool, we'll see you in Nigeria. So when I came in, they was already practicing in Nigeria. And I came in, I didn't have a room or whatever, but of course, I'm from Nigeria. I already had plans, just to have whatever the situation was going to be. So I sat down with coach and Musa introduced me as one of the ex-players trying to try out for the team, whatever. I kind of felt some type of way about that, but whatever. We'll see. That's how I felt in the back of my mind. Like, we'll go see now. We will go enter practice. We'll see it today. So at the end of the day, they picked that 12. I was one of them, and I felt like that team we were going to Tunisia with at the time was little. Those young guys were hungry, and they were very athletic, and we was going there with a little like a very very solid team. So it was easy to try to rally those guys and keep them focused because I know we can't mess it up, you know. And for first timers, they did a hell of a job just going out there and not caring. I think he worked out in our favor because those guys didn't know who was who. They didn't know who Angola was or who Tunisia was. They didn't care who they was playing against. They was just out there hooping. And we did a great job shitting them from knowing or trying to be scared of who that guy is, who this guy was. So, I mean, to me, I think we should have came on with gold medal, but this, it was this little few 2 3 minutes in the game where we kind of changed the way we were playing, or what got us to the finals. We kind of went in the zone, and for a shooting team, you don't want to do that because they don't want to drive in the first place. They want to shoot. So now you stay in the zone, you giving them open shots instead of just crowding them and letting them drive to the shot blocker. So once they start making shots, it kind of become like a domino effect where everything just went down here. We went from going up 10, 11, 14 points, I remember, to losing the game. It was a learning experience for us, and I think it got us where we are today. And I mean, if I have to go back again, okay, I would rather take the gold, but I think it was a humbling experience, and it gave those guys more hunger to come in and trying to do better.
It was an opportunity for you to win your first major title on the continent, playing for Nigeria, but that went missing. You couldn't. You settled for silver. I know that for you as a person looking back at his career with the national team, trying to make an impact, that would have probably left a bitter taste on your palate. How difficult was it for you to come to terms with the fact that, oh, you missed gold medal just because of 3 or 4 minutes of lackluster attitude from the players?
I mean, it was tough. It was tough. It was a tough pill to swallow. But, at the end of the day, we all know, winning gold medal, okay, is going to be in history that we did that. But the ultimate goal is to put Nigeria on the map so far high where it's not even a comparison with African teams when we go compete. And that was the ultimate goal. Me and Ike, we talk a lot, a whole lot, you know. And when Farouk get a chance, or Day, Ben, all those guys that have been around, for a minute, when we sit around and talk, it's all about getting the national team to where, it's just up there with when they talking about Australia, when they're talking about, the top teams in the world, we there. Like they hear our name and they're scared. And that's always been the goal. And don't get me wrong now, we have this group chat that consists of guys that have paved the way for what a lot of people are saying now that are behind. I mean, the scene that you don't know of. Like there's plenty of names. There's EVRA, you know, hell of a player. Paid his dues. Gabe Muneki paid his dues. Julius and Wilson paid his dues. Lumidori Deji paid his dues. Uh, Shane Lawal, Tony Skeen paid his dues. You know, Archibald, Derek Obasahar, Josh, Okoye. Sorry, man, Okoye is the last name sounds the same. Josh Okoye. I mean, the list goes on. There's so many guys that played that graced the national team that Jamal is there. Like a lot of people now don't know of, but all their sacrifice led to where we at now. You know, and I commend those guys because even though they're behind the scene, they still every single day want the best for the team. They want the best for the national team. They are there. They're talking about it. We're politicking about it. Advice comes in, and it's just it's good to know that there's a lot of people behind closed door rooting for the national team to be in the highest place in the basketball world. And I think uh I think the future is bright. I think the future is bright.
Still on that 2017 set, um, I think for many Nigerians, from what they've seen so far, they describe that set as they paid the price for not winning the gold, despite coming from nowhere to to talk Africa and then get to the finals, beating Senegal, who were described as one of the title favorites. But looking at it, do you share the same sentiment, or it was just because the guys were not up to the standard that we needed, probably moving forward?
No, 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 no. I think we went there with the team that was available, and I think the 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 Fed, the management did a hell of a job with what they were given, not taking away from the talent that we went there with. Absolutely not going to take away from the talent we went there with. Those guys, unbelievable. They were unbelievable talent, right? But at the end of the day, we can always go with a better talent. Some people will argue that we could have went to China with better talent, right? Some people will argue we had more talent than we went to Olympic with. You know what I mean? So when it comes to Nigeria, the talent is so deep. Like the talent pool is so deep that no matter what 12 you put out there, there's still going to be a debate. It's going to be a debate about, you know, this guy should have been on the team or that guy should have been on the team because we're so, we so deep. Like we have so much talent and so much names out there, and it's unfair. It's unfair to the people that are actually going there and putting this, what I'm saying, putting that all on the line because you take this 12 and some people are saying, okay, this guy shouldn't have made the team or this guy should have been on the team. It's kind of unfair to those guys that are actually there, that are, actually putting on for the team. You understand what I'm saying? Like if
Uh,
if if
um,
I go and somebody say I shouldn't make the team, it's unfair to me. And if Root go and somebody say, nah, Oladipo should have been on the team, it's unfair to that guy because at the end of the day, we all rooting for the same thing, like for the country to do good. So it don't matter what 12 they take. It's about, how you maximize what you got, you know, at the tournament.
Maybe probably those guys were just complaining basically from the experiences they had in the past or stories that they heard about players being dropped at the last minute and then people that were not in camp or people that didn't quote unquote didn't deserve or didn't sweat to
Right,
to be in camp or to even be on the team
right,
were they share the same opinion because from what you said while you were sharing your story you just 2 days to the national to the final selection you were dropped and then another guy was brought in. Maybe that was the standpoint they were coming from.
yeah, it could be, but at the end of the day, when people make their comments or share their opinions, you don't really know where they're coming from with it. All you see is a comment. If I post a picture now or a video or something, and I get a whole bunch of comment behind it underneath my picture, I see the comments, but I don't know where they're coming from with it. So until you have one-on-one with somebody and they hear where they're coming from, you don't really, all you know is somebody talk shit about me. But if you sit down with that person and hear their point of view, and you might can relate to it better and say, okay, I understand where you're coming from. So fans are gonna be fans. They just gonna come in there and pour their opinion all on it, But at the end of the day, whenever the camp is called, they call more than 12, So and they choose the best 12 that they think see fit to go to any tournament. So you just have to deal with it. You just have to deal with whatever, if they call it 12, the 12 have to go there and give it their all, regardless of anybody's opinion. And I think Nigeria's come a long way. This is the first time it's ever happened that, you know, any African country will go to the Olympic 3 times in a row. So it's been a long time coming, and I'm glad I'm here to see it. I'm glad I was able to be, some part of it, and I will always cherish the time that I had, with the national team, and I won't take it for granted.
Um, you've been around for a while, one of the oldest guys on the team. By the way, I'm Akindele is 37, so you should know his age. He's like bros, bros to most of the guys on the national team. But let's look at the thing special about the current squad that we have right now. What's so special about this present squad?
I think uh, it's the camaraderie that sets us apart every time. Like it's always like since I've been on the national team, I think my first 2 years might be the not the worst, like camaraderie wise, but ever since, it's been a you know, few bad apples, but I'll say since 2000 2011 and up, it's been a brotherhood. You know what I mean? It's been a brotherhood, and every player root for each other. You know what I mean? And you will see players subbing themselves out the game just so the next guy can get some playing time. I played 7 minutes. I'm tired. They're not tired, but they want the next guy to get it. To get in and have some fun because they know. This is the reason why we're here. We're not getting paid for this. The only thing we can, get paid with is playing time. So I've seen guys do that. Like I've seen guys done the same thing I'm talking about, where they literally will tell the coach like, yo, I need a breather, just so the other guys can get in the game and get some burn. I mean, which you don't see that mostly, on any team. Period. It's either you getting paid or not getting paid. Like players are very selfish. They want to play all the minutes. If they get taken out, they get upset. Of course, we still have some young guys on the team that want to play all the minutes, but it's just it comes with with people that leads, and you lead by example. They watch what we do. They learn from us. Either way, they might not tell you that they're learning from you, but it just sticks. You've been around somebody long enough. It sticks. It sticks with you. You see how they operate. See how they do things. So it's being the brotherhood, and I think that's the big difference. Since I've been back, where when people fight for each other, it tends to go far. No way. If I know my brother have my back, I'm gonna die for that rebound. Or if I know if I go for that steal, if I miss it, somebody will have my back. It's easy for people to work hard and trying to push themselves to the limit if you know somebody else gonna have your back.
And then off the court, it seems you are the life of the party. Trying to make the guys bond outside the basketball, out to see places, taking them to the market, taking them to club, and everything in between. Um, was it because you needed them to come together, or just because you wanted to show them this is my zone, this is Lagos, this is where this welcome to Nigeria and enjoy the old the old fun and what was it like for you? What's the reason behind taking the guys out when they come for national assignment?
Uh, well, I've always been like that, and because I grew up around the veterans that
Okay.
always showed me a good time. Huh.
I said, by the way, you've not taken me out, so
Don't worry about it. We got plenty of time. I mean, I've always been like that, and I have some veterans that showed me the ropes. Julius Nwosu was one of the veterans on the national team that I soaked everything from. Gabe was one of those guys that never goes nowhere, but you know, it's a lot to learn. It was a lot that you you can learn from Gabe if you paid attention at the time he was playing, and it was all everything combined. So when they come to Nigeria and they haven't been to Nigeria before, and they hear a lot of rumors about Nigeria, or Africa, that don't go outside. Their parents tell them this, or their friends tell them like, don't go outside. It's dangerous. It's this. It's that. Hearing this from people that haven't been to Nigeria in over a decade, and I feel like it's my obligation, it's my duty to let them see, or to open their eyes to a whole new Nigeria, or to a whole new Lagos, or it's not as bad as people think. It's actually way better than people tells you it is. Like there's nightlife here, there's just everything you want to do. Like you can go outside and you can do this. That's why, I make sure I get them to see that, okay, there's a lot of things you could do. You can invest in Nigeria, you can do real estate, you can do anything you want to do here. You don't have to be afraid to come home and have fun, or be able to even come here and invest or live here, or whatever you want to do, you can do it here. So, I've been fortunate enough to be able to show guys, the whole new side of, Nigeria that they haven't seen before. We go to a few of my friends' houses. If during the day, you don't have to be, you have to go to the clubs or whatever. We go, somebody's house. We just be there. They cook. We just talk shit. Just so we can get out the hotel and be in a different atmosphere, or different environment, or see other things. Sometimes I try to make it a celebrity, so you don't be like they just going to a random guy's house. People get scared when they don't hear celebrities' name. You know what I mean? So
Gonna come back now. We have 4 seconds left.